Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Bloomberg. Down goes Michael Bloomberg. He is out. Now, with Joe Biden racking up multiple wins on Super Tuesday, it appears that the establishment angst about Joe Biden, as well as Bernie Sanders, running away with the huge delegate lead after Super Tuesday, has been relieved. And as such, Michael Bloomberg is now has announced that he is now done with this thing. He is out. Now, Bloomberg announced on Wednesday that he is suspending his campaign after a very poor performance on Super Tuesday and has throwing his weight behind Joe Biden. Now, this is after he spent about $500 million on ads, in which basically he took the money, lit it on fire, and there it is. But now that money is going to go behind Joe Biden. So watch out for that. If you think you're done with Bloomberg ads, well, yes, you're done with Bloomberg ads, but now you're going to see just as many ads, but for Joe Biden. Oh boy. So buckle up, man. Now remember, the only reason Bloomberg entered this race is because he was very worried about Bernie Sanders winning and raising his taxes a little bit. Let's understand that, right? He was concerned, and he's like, oh man, if Bernie Sanders starts to get a lead, well, I'm going to jump into this thing. And then early polling, of course, had Bernie Sanders doing very well in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. And that's why, of course, Bloomberg said, okay, I got to get in there. I got to get in there. Well, Bernie Sanders did do very well in those states. Won New Hampshire, won the popular vote in Iowa, and then crushed in Nevada. Well, now, after Super Tuesday, Biden had a pretty good night. He won 10 states. One of the big prizes was Texas. He won Texas, but thankfully lost California. And so California, Colorado, Vermont, and Utah all went to Bernie Sanders, giving him a pretty good amount of delegates. And so now it's a race. It's a race between Biden and a race between Bernie. And so there wasn't any need for Bloomberg to divide the centrist vote anymore. And that's why he's out. That's why he's out. Now, interestingly enough, Bloomberg, I don't think he wanted to drop out. I think he was egotistical enough to think, no. If I win on Super Tuesday, if I do a good showing, then all that support that goes to Biden from, Klobuchar and Buttigieg, that's all going to go to me. Well, he vastly overestimated himself, as these billionaires generally do, right? And so, well, he got humbled. Let's just say he ate a big old piece of humble pie, and again, had to drop out. But look, his campaign, as I said before, it was actually hurting Biden the same way that Warren's campaign is actually hurting Bernie Sanders right now. So to understand, that led to massive pressure on Bloomberg last night to end his campaign and endorse Biden, and so he did. In fact, here's what he said in a statement. I've always believed that defeating Donald Trump starts with uniting behind the candidate with the best shot to do it. Now, let me stop there and point out that in new polls, Donald Trump edges out every single candidate except for Bernie Sanders. So wait, no, if you want to beat Donald Trump, you would support Bernie Sanders. Oh, but Bernie Sanders would tax your wealth, whereas Donald Trump would continue keeping taxes low on millionaires and billionaires. And then also, maybe he would get another round of tax cuts. So the choice for Bloomberg is obvious. It is very clear. I don't want Bernie Sanders anywhere near my money and have it be used to give poor people health care. Buh. I hate that. So anyway, now he continues in a statement after yesterday's votes. It is clear that candidate is my friend and a great American, Joe Biden. I've known Joe for a very long time. I know his decency, his honesty, and his commitment to the issues that are so important to our country, including gun safety, healthcare, climate change, and good jobs. No, see, you don't know Joe, because that's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not an honest person. He got caught lying about being arrested in South Africa trying to visit Nelson Mandela. He lied about it. He lied about his record on civil rights. He lied about the fact that he had worked with segregationists to stop busing for African American students. He actively worked against civil rights. I mean, what Bloomberg said couldn't be any further from the truth. Healthcare, no, under Biden's plan, 125,000 people over the next 10 years will die from lack of healthcare. 3% of the population will be left out under the Joe Biden healthcare plan, where you still would have private corporations, insurance companies dictating your healthcare and whether or not you get coverage. So give me a break. What a complete and total liar. Absolutely. No, Michael Bloomberg is always only out for his own class interests. And remember, Joe Biden famously told his donors, don't worry, under me, nothing is going to fundamentally change. He didn't misspeak there. That wasn't a gaffe. That's how he actually feels. So understand that. And by the way, calling them gaffes. Look, when he messes up his speech, right, and his eye explodes, which has also happened, that just gives ammunition to Donald Trump, which leads Trump to be able to make fun of him for it, as he already has. And Trump is just going to dismantle him on stage because that's what he does, right? He's going to hammer on him on his absolutely horrible record and make fun of him for all the gaffes. And again, gaffes, the guy's melting as we speak, his brain. Okay. So now, and look, let's be fair. One or two issues, okay, one or two times, that's fine, right? But this is near constant. In fact, let me show you guys a video. This was last night during Biden's Super Tuesday celebration.
Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, this is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
He literally forgot which one was his wife and which one was his sister. Oh, dear God. What a walking disaster. And absolutely. And here's the thing, right? So I keep mentioning he's going to have at least Bloomberg's money, right? Well, that is going to carry him, but I don't think it can carry him so far. But understand, the media is propping up Biden. You have bad faith actors in the media that are hiding Biden's records of lying about getting arrested in South Africa. His record on opposing school integration, as I mentioned, all that stuff. Palling around with Strom Thurmond, supporting Social Security cuts and bad trade deals. You're not going to hear any of that on MSNBC or even CNN. And you also don't hear about the constant issues where he seems very, very confused. It's not a stuttering problem. No, his mental health, just like the president of the United States, is declining. He does not have what it takes to take on Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump, and here's one of the differences, right? And I contrasted this with Michael Bloomberg, is that, look, Michael Bloomberg, his brain isn't melting, okay? He's just a very uninteresting person. He's very bland. He's very egotistical. He's one of those people that, look, he's basically, if you have a crappy boss, it's like Michael Bloomberg, the arrogance, right? And Joe Biden, a lot of people like him because he's folksy, right? Well, Donald Trump, a lot of people like him because he's a clown. He is very entertaining and people like an entertaining clown. And so there's that, right? And so when it comes to charisma, with Joe Biden's brain melting versus Donald Trump and his brain melting, but doing so in an entertaining fashion, well, I mean, look, it's just, any debate's going to be a shit show. I can guarantee you that. And maybe it'll get high ratings, but I don't think it's going to end up well for Joe Biden. man. But as far as Michael Bloomberg is concerned, as the story is supposed to be about him, he's going to do what he does best and throw money at it, right? He's going to throw a bunch of cash Biden's way so they can blanket the airwaves with garbage. Okay. Now, make no mistake, though. This was a complete disaster for Bloomberg. Him running in this race whatsoever. Disaster. Why? Benjamin Dixon, friend of the show, revealed his decades of racism, right? And not only that, but his misogyny, his sexism, the fact that he has even more sexual harassment allegations against him than Donald Trump. I mean, the support that he had gotten for a brief amount of time really took the mask off the Democratic establishment, and shows that they don't actually care about running a racist, sexist billionaire against a racist, sexist billionaire, and them literally trying to copy the Republicans instead of going for someone who would actually win, Bernie Sanders. But again, he spent $500 million to get destroyed everywhere except for American Samoa, which I don't quite understand. And Bloomberg's image has taken a hit. And the good thing about that is that anybody who backs Joe Biden now is by default on the same side as Michael Bloomberg. And you can point out, but wait, Michael Bloomberg supports you, and Bloomberg is a terrible human being. You want to talk about decency, you want to talk about honesty. Not when you have somebody like that backing you and paying for you and helping for you or in helping you win. So at least there's that. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.